Rick, Man United 4, Istanbul 1. I'm going to say emphatic win. We won 4-1. It's emphatic. A lot of good points about today. A lot of good patterns of play, little neat touches, 1-2s, round corners, some good goals today. But I do know I'm talking to Ricky, and I do know there will be other things you want to say. So I'm going to keep it simple, Rick, and ask you this. What did you make of Man United's performance today?
Just before you came through to me, I had the TV on and I switched it off, obviously, because you was coming through. But the last few words I heard was Paul Scholes saying I wouldn't get carried away by this fixture. That's the last few words. I don't know what he said after that, but I heard him say that. I'm going to say exactly the same. I won't get carried away. As much as they beat us at their place, and I know the managers are always saying it doesn't matter, there's no crowds. You know, they were different at home than they were tonight. And there's no truer saying than goals change games as well. I mean, they got the first goal at their place. Tonight, we happened to get the first goal. Probably deservedly so, of course. And a cracking goal it was. People think that I'm having a go here. I'm really, really not having a go. I'm making a statement of facts. Bruno scored an absolute screamer. You don't always catch them right. On another day, he doesn't catch that right, and they're still 0-0, and they're still up for it, and it's still buoyant and everything else. There's no truer saying than goals change games, and Bruno's strike completely changed the game. I mean, we were on top anyway.
I was going to say that, though, because even before we did that, from the first minute, we were at it, Rick. We were at it.
Well, we were on top, without a doubt. We were on top. But their mindset changes. It gives them all. Look, you just do it. You know, they're hoping they can hang on till 20 minutes, half an hour, and work their way into the game. And when one goes in, how long was gone? 8, 9 minutes, 10 minutes, perhaps.
Yeah, about 8 minutes.
Goals change game, and it was a cracking goal. I'm really not. It was a cracking goal. But you've got to understand that doesn't always work for you. You don't all. In fact, just thinking back to Saturday, I'm pretty certain he had a shot from a very, very similar position on Saturday that he scuffed and he bounced a couple of times and hit the defenders. Do you know what I mean? So unlucky for them, lucky for West Brom. So sometimes it goes for you, sometimes it doesn't. And you just never know what, man. As the commentators were saying all night, they had as many chances and as many decent situations as we did in the first. Well, I was about to say in the first 60 or 70 minutes, but right near the end, they had 2 or 3 at the back near the end, didn't they? But obviously, you feel as though it's over even at 3. When they got a goal back, 3-1, you think to yourself, I hope they don't get another soon. And pretty soon they hit the bar, didn't they? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Well, look, over the moon with the win. I wouldn't get too carried away. Like Scholes, he said, it was a good win. I put a tweet out as soon as I heard it. A few minutes before kickoff, seconds in fact before kickoff, the commentator said something along the lines of, Man United are one of the biggest 3 or 4 clubs in the world, and they're playing against Basaksehir, who were the 4th biggest club in Istanbul. Do you know what I mean?
True. Yeah.
I think that puts a bit of a different light on it in a way. But they are the champions of Turkey, obviously. But look, we needed the points. I'm over the moon with the points. I'm also over the moon that there was a winner in the other game. It now means that a point will do us from either match now, won't it? We need a point.
Yeah. Rick, you know what? Funny enough, I always give a lot of praise to Bruno, and I think rightly so. It's a fantastic strike. But with this, I was saying to Mark even at half-time, and I was saying even on Twitter, that we still conceded a few moments to them, like quite a few equal chances. So not equal chances because we created the better chances. That's unfair. But I just had reservations over it being as black and white as pick all them players and we're fixed. That's all I was saying. I really liked it tonight. But going forward, what do you say to people who, you know, because everyone was really excited by that team. I know me and Mark was on the live and you sort of tweeted that you're not over the moon with the team. What is it that you think would need to change going forward? Like, why is it you wouldn't maybe stick with that?
Well, Van der Beek had a brilliant game, and I love Van der Beek. What I've seen of him, and I've been saying this since day one. You know that, and tonight they're all raving about it, by the way. But I've been saying it since day one. Well, as soon as I'd seen him a couple.
You to play him in the number 10 though, and he played deeper. He showed he can play it.
Yeah, great. He played deeper, and it worked. It did work, but like you just said, they had 7. They didn't just have 1 or 2 or 3 moments. They had 7 or 8 or 9 moments, didn't they? They might have scored 2 or 3 goals on another day. Doesn't matter how they go. That's partly because you're not dominating in midfield and you're not stopping them well enough. You know what I mean? It didn't work for them. It sounds a bit churlish when you've won 4-1, but they did have 7 or 8 or 9 dangerous moments, really dangerous moments. And I just think as I've always said, against a decent Premier League team. I mean, look, no disrespect, man. Where would they be if they were in the Premier League? I think they'd be a struggling team if they were in the Premier League. They might be, you know, they might not be as good as West Brom, to be honest. If West Brom
was saying he thinks they would beat West Brom, just.
Yeah, well, maybe. So, you know, there didn't be much in it, but we only just beat West Brom, didn't we? Do you know what I mean? So I don't, I wouldn't get carried away by it. We had some really good moments. We played some good stuff. The goals were all funny goals, though, Flex. We didn't. The best goal was the last goal. Best goal, you know, as a team goal.
That kind of play was really good, yeah.
Yeah. You know, Bruno, on another day, like I say, you don't catch that right. But even though he caught it great, look, it's one of the. That's the type of goal that Bruno struck tonight. If they still have goal of the month on Match of the Day, I don't watch it much these days. It could win goal of the month. But I like goals where there's loads of passes and it creates a chance. You know what I mean? So we didn't score a goal like that. You know, Bruno scored an absolute screamer. Then the goal.
Oh, I know what you're going to say now. I've got it. I know what's coming.
Then a goalkeeper dropped one, didn't he? And then we got a penalty along. You know, we didn't until and even that was a fast break. But even so, it was a nice break, and Greenwood played it across lovely. Dan James took it beautifully, by the way, didn't he?
There it is.
He did, though, didn't he?
He did. No, but what I thought you was going to say, Rick, I thought you was going to say we didn't score a goal like that until Dan James came on the pitch, and then Matic came on the pitch.
Dan James only finished it. I think you should know by now that I love the build-up play.
Yeah, it was good.
The build-up to that goal was the best goal for me. You know
Let me ask you this, Rick. Cavani got a start up front today. Martial come off the left. It looked bright. I thought Martial looked quite good. I know he didn't maybe hit the heights in the second half, but when the better players were on the pitch, or the first 11, should I say, I don't want to be disrespectful, he looked quite sharp. And Cavani, although he didn't get like shots off in the first half, his link-up play and his intelligence and simplicity was key to bring players in. He knows when to take one touch, when to turn, when to flick it round the corner and spin. Do you want to see that going forward? And also Marcus Rashford on the right-hand side. That front three is my question. Did you like it?
I did like it tonight. I won't be 100% convinced about it against a good Premier League side. Look, I've said it time and time again, and it's great tonight. And we've played a team that we should expect to beat whatever team. I said this on a show this morning. No matter what team we selected tonight, we should expect to win, and we could easily have a good win no matter what team we pick. So I said that this morning. I mean, no matter what we pick, we might have a good win, and we did have a good win. But we might have had a good win if we'd have picked a different team. Do you know what I mean? It's just. I don't think that them coming to Old Trafford should be frightening us, and we should be able to beat them. But we have played worse teams and not won. To be fair, I just think going forward, even Southampton away, you know, he might decide that's the next game. He might decide to go with the same team again. It could work again. I fancy it to be more. Well, it will be more of a struggle. I'll be amazed if it works.
I'll be surprised if he goes with that same team again in midfield.
I think McTominay's got to come back in. To be honest, how he keeps picking Fred as his main man. Do you see the two passes Fred gave away today? The one to Demba Ba.
Yeah, I did. Do you know what? Let's talk about that. Because I knew. Do you know what? It's so funny because I watch these games and. Because I know I'll be talking to you straight after. Sometimes, a lot of the time, I'm like, okay, that's a no. I know Rick's going to remember that bit, or I know he's going to remember that bit. And I know, at half time, I was saying Rick will be worried that this team is too expansive and it conceded too many chances to play in the Premier League. And it's basically what you're saying. But on the Fred situation, yes, I felt like Fred got a little bit overexcited because we were playing attacking football and people were playing forward passes. There was a moment in that first half where he tried to play some difficult passes that if they would have come off, they would have actually released us, but it didn't work out that way. But with Van der Beek next to him, he was keeping it simple. I would like to see Van der Beek playing more, but Fred is so important, I think, because he gets around the pitch. And I know you rate him the least out of the Fred, McTominay and Matic trio. I know you do. But I think he's almost the first name on Ollie's team sheet in that area. He's in a good space right now.
He is. He is, Flex. And Ollie's wrong, and I'm right, I'm telling you. The problem is when people look at stats, Flex,
having Fred over McTominay over Fred.
People might say he's got an 80. I think I've said this to you before. He's got an 80% pass completion, and he's got a 75% pass completion. rip all them up, mate, and throw them in the bin. You've got to watch the game, and you've got to pick out the moments where somebody gives the ball away. Because when they're counting the passes, sometimes you're right under pressure and you try and shove it off to someone, and it gets intercepted, and you've got a little bit of an excuse. What we've got to cut out, the one that Fred slammed against Demba Ba and the referee gave handball, it was never handball. Demba Ba was 8 yards away from him, and I'm not joking, Flex, any reasonable and I mean any, I mean a goalkeeper even, should be, because he's only clipping it out to the left wing, any player should be able to clip that up and over that player to the left wing.
But he didn't do that all game long, Rick. That was two moments where Matic came on and stuck one into touch.
Flex. I'm talking about when you've got loads and loads. I saw Matic stick one into touch. You think I'm just defending him?
Matic stuck one into touch.
I'm not defending him because it's Matic. It was a tiny bit more difficult. He's trying to get it down the line. He missed his man by 2 yards. It went out for touch. It wasn't good. But Fred, like somebody who's closing Matic down, all tiny little bits come into it. Fred's standing there with the ball under no pressure whatsoever, tries to give it to the left back and kicks it straight against their player. We've got to cut out giving it away when there's no...
I think McTominay, but I think, when you say you prefer McTominay, and I know you say for stature and that, against Everton, Rick, there was a passage of play where McTominay done exactly the same thing. I don't think McTominay's very good on the ball at all. I don't see that.
I remember it. I do remember it.
You know what I mean? Like, he does what Fred does. It's only that he's got a bit of stature and can win some headers, which is why I feel like you might prefer him over Fred. But I remember before you said that you prefer the kind of, he's got a bit more about him because of his stature.
There's an old saying, Lex, that a good big one will always beat a good little one. If you've got two players who have got similar abilities and similar strengths, if you've got one that's 6 inches taller than the other one, the one who's 6 inches taller is generally a tougher opponent.
Yeah. See, I think to be fair, we will agree to disagree because I prefer Fred. You prefer McTominay in that role. I think Fred needs to be. I think what Fred brings to that midfield is tenacity. I think, yes, he can give the ball away. He needs to brush up on his pass, and that is his downside. Then headers and size, I give you that. But I think McTominay is worse on the ball than Fred for me. I think Fred and Matic, fine. Fred and Van der Beek in certain games, fine. Fred and Pogba, ideally, but we can see with the balance isn't always there. But Fred, I'd always have, out of what we got, I'd always have Fred. I really would. Me personally. But hey, that's, yeah.
Won't we, mate?
Yeah, 100%.
The thing is, Ollie sees it your way, but I'm not afraid of telling you that I think I'm right and I think he's wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. So on to Southampton, Rick. I mean, it kind of goes into the question, and I mean, that's the only change you would make, then, is it?
I like Marshall on the left. I like Cavani at 9. I do think it might be a little bit. Look, it's going to be hard to leave Van der Beek out. It really is. I mean, he played that well. I mean, if you're going to
I bet he does.
You're going to ask me for man of the match in a minute, and I'm going to say Van der Beek. You know what I mean? He was the player on the field who scores the goals. He was the best player on the field. You know what I mean? But whether he'll pick him or not, I do think, Ollie. This is something else I've said.
He'll leave him out. He'll leave him out.
He'll probably have sleepless nights over it. What's he do? He wants to bring McTominay back in next to Fred. Without a doubt, he'll want to do that. But it is a risk. It is a risk playing Fred and Van der Beek against Romeo and Ward-Prowse and players who really get at you. That is a risk. It's a different ball game. Yeah, it is a different ball game. It's going to be a much tougher game. I can't wait for it, Flex. And I'm just thinking Van der Beek's played that well. He might just chance it this week. He might just chance it. Do it, Ollie. Come on, do it. The other thing that he won't do without any shadow of a doubt, now that you've sort of, and people are raving about Van der Beek, obviously you see what I'm talking about the little passes, seeing them short, quick passes. I don't think anyone's disagreeing on that. Don't worry about who's going to score the goals. You do not need to worry about that. Put Van der Beek in Bruno's place for a game or two, and you'll see a different team altogether. Then you've still got your two holders, and you've got a player who's making it all happen. I just think that's out of the question right now because Bruno's numbers are exactly. He's scoring the goals. He can't do it. But what he can't get into his head, and what none of the fans can get into their heads, is that you don't need a particular player scoring all the goals and making all the goals. I am absolutely adamant, Flex. I've got no doubt in my mind that if Van der Beek played at number 10 for us, the team, and it's all about the team for me. There's no I in team.
Yeah.
Right? I don't. If Van der Beek plays at 10 for the next 20 games, I would have money on it with anybody that we'll score as many goals in the next 20 games as we have in the last 20 games. Van der Beek won't score anywhere near as many as Bruno. He won't even assist as many as Bruno. But as a team, we will score at least as many.
You think? Or you said.
I've got no doubt about it. Look, it's a funny old game. It could go wrong, but I think it'd go right. I'm certain it'd go right.
Yeah, listen, great stuff, Rick, as usual. And Donny van der Beek, man in the match.
Yeah, without a doubt.
You went with? Yeah. Predicting a win, Southampton?
I always have to wait for the team news. If he picks the same team as tonight, I'd say no. But with Cavani and Marshall up top, you've got a chance. With Van der Beek, obviously Bruno can score goals. I'm not going to say he's not a good player for us. You've got plenty of goal scorers. You've got plenty of skill in the team. You know what I mean? It could work for us. But the team that he picked tonight, as much as it worked great tonight, if that was our team long term in the Premier League, and I know you get injuries and one thing or another, but if that was our team every week in the Premier League, I think we'll still be just struggling to get in the top 4 all season.
Yeah, I got concerns about that as well. Listen, Rick, always a pleasure. I'll see you Sunday, mate.
Nice one, Flex. Appreciate it.